There are new questions being raised in the case of a man charged with murder for a crash that killed his girlfriend and her 5-year-old daughter last year.
They come after Prince William's police chief ruled the investigating officer had violated department policy. Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Julie Carey spoke to the driver's defense attorney about why he thinks the finding casts doubt on the case.
Mustafa Al-Jaziri has been behind bars for almost a year now, accused of intentionally driving his car into oncoming traffic, a crash that killed Dorothy Fontaine and her 5-year-old daughter, Empress. Initially charged with manslaughter, the charges were later upgraded to second-degree murder. Al-Jaziri's family insists the crash was an accident. The defendant's brothers filed an internal affairs complaint with the Prince William County Police, alleging the investigating officer, quote, falsified a portion of his police report to say that the couple was arguing before the crash. Al-Jaziri's brother provided a taped version of a phone conversation that contradicted portions of the written police report. Last month, the Al-Jaziri family received this brief letter from Prince William Police Chief Peter Newsham reading, "The investigation revealed that Master Police Officer Drum violated department policy, therefore appropriate corrective action has been taken." Al-Jaziri hired a new defense attorney, Blake Weiner, who tells me he specializes in police misconduct cases.
The police report talks about my client saying, "I know what happened." He didn't say that. The police report also says that they were arguing in the car. He didn't say that. These are not only these material facts and material misrepresentations, they're the foundation of the government's case.
Weiner says without the incriminating statement, there's no proof Al-Jaziri crashed the car intentionally. Police will not disclose specifically what led to the finding that the investigating officer violated department policy. In a statement, a spokesman writes, "The community can be rest assured the very minor administrative errors that were uncovered and addressed will not have a negative impact on the double murder charges the accused is facing in the deaths of a mother and her 5-year-old daughter." And the Commonwealth's attorney also telling me the policy violation will not impact the case, writing, "The letter has no impact on our case or the charges we brought. We were aware of the mistake that the officer made in his report and had already provided that information to the defense." Court documents filed by prosecutors say there is other evidence supporting the charges, including dash cam video from the vehicle, but there's no audio on the recording.
They claim they don't have audio of the dash camera, but here they are telling the public they were arguing. So if they don't have audio, and my client didn't say they're arguing despite the police report saying so, what's their basis? We don't know.
Weiner says his next step as the newest defense attorney on this case will be to seek bond for his client. The trial now set for December. In Prince William County, I'm Julie Carey, News 4.
It's always very upsetting.
This is what the news is talking about in the Mustafa Al-Jaziri case. We're going to take a deep dive and look into what Commonwealth Amy Ashworth is talking about. I mean, Amy Ashworth comes out to the news. She puts out a statement and she says that she has other evidence that supports her case. That it doesn't matter if the police report is falsified, that she has other evidence that support her case. So we'll take a deep dive and look into the Commonwealth attorney other evidence. Commonwealth Amy Ashworth went to Judge Carol Weimer, and she seals off the whole entire case. You can't FOIA request the body cams. You can't FOIA request the documents. You can't even request Mustafa's dash camera. There's a dash camera inside the car that the Commonwealth attorney is telling you that Mustafa was arguing with his girlfriend and he intentionally drove his vehicle into oncoming traffic. But she seals off this dash camera from the community. She doesn't want anybody to look at it. Unfortunately for this Commonwealth attorney, I stole the file from her. Everything that she has on evidence.com, I have it. Evidence.com is the police department website where they keep everything on it. So even though the Commonwealth attorney sealed it, I have it and I'm leaking it on the internet. And the dash camera that the Commonwealth attorney is terrified from, that she doesn't want to release to you, it shows that there is no argument inside the car and that Mustafa did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. And this is why this Commonwealth attorney is terrified. And she sealed off this dash camera from everybody. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa threw the police body cam. Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope. Before we dive into the Mustafa Al-Jazari case, and we're going to pick up where we left off last time, we're taking a deep dive into the forensic interview of Kylie Clapp. Commonwealth Amy Ashworth is using Kylie Clapp, a person that was not there, a person that tells you, I wasn't there, I didn't see anything, as a witness in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. But she seals off her forensic interview so that no one finds out that Kylie says, I wasn't there, I didn't see anything, I didn't hear anything. So what essentially Kylie is doing is manufacturing probable cause for Commonwealth Amy Ashworth. And Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, to make sure that no one knows this, she seals off the forensic interview. And she tells the news, I have other evidence that will support my case. Well, we're going to take a deep dive into the other evidence that Commonwealth Amy Ashworth has, and this community is going to find out. A whole entire case is built on manufactured probable cause. That this is a vehicle accident. Mustafa did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. Now, before we take a deep dive in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case, I want to go over to our local paper, Inside Nova, and find out what is going on around the county in Prince William County. So our local paper is Inside Nova. InsideNova.com. We have a really interesting article put out by Virginia State Police. And Virginia State Police is asking for the community to come forward. Now, Virginia State Police in this article, state police seek information in road rage shooting on I-95. Now, Virginia State Police is coming forward and is asking the community for their help. They talk about one vehicle shooting into another vehicle. And essentially, they want your help to get to the bottom of what took place on I-95. Now, our question for Virginia State Police is there are cases that are coming out of Prince William County that Virginia State Police avoid. That I want to talk about them, that I want to address them. Specifically, the vehicle accident of Mustafa Al-Jazari. Why is Virginia State Police not investigating the vehicle accident of Mustafa Al-Jazari? It's been 2 years, and they have not reconstructed a vehicle accident. You have fatalities. Mustafa lost his girlfriend, her 5-year-old baby. Mustafa was in a coma. Mustafa was helicoptered to the hospital. It's been 2.5 years. Mustafa sits in solitary confinement. And you haven't reconstructed the vehicle accident? What is going on with Virginia State Police? Now we have another case, Tatiana David. And when I'm reading this article, keep the case of Mustafa Al-Jazari and Tatiana David in the back of your head. I don't think that's too much to ask. Tatiana David, Virginia State Police, went on the news and said that we found Tatiana David outside the vehicle with a gunshot wound. And then charged her boyfriend with murder. They said that the boyfriend shot her. Now, this is what they're saying on the news. Commonwealth Amy Ashworth sealed off the body cams for Virginia State Police and Prince William County. And essentially, you're left with a narrative out of Virginia State Police and Prince William County Police Department. But they won't release the body cams to you. But unfortunately for Virginia State Police, unfortunately for Commonwealth Amy Ashworth and Prince William County Police Department, I stole those body cams from them, and I'm leaking them on the internet. We're going to read this article, We're going to play the body cam of Tatiana David. And you tell me, what is Virginia State Police and Prince William County Police Department doing in our community? I don't think that's too much to ask. I don't think it's too much to ask for the police department, Virginia State Police, and Prince William County Police Department to look into what their officers did. Specifically, when we have the body cams, that Virginia State Police and Prince William County Police Department are the one that shot and killed Tatiana David. Let's take a deep dive into this article. This article says, State Police seek information in road rage shooting on I-495. State Police investigators are looking for information in a June road rage shooting that left a driver injured on Interstate 495. The June 11 incident began about 9:12 a.m. along Interstate 495, southbound in the area of Route 236 in Fairfax County. The victim SUV, brown, so they give us the detail of the vehicle. The victim SUV, a brown 1999 Chevy Suburban, may have cut off the suspect's vehicle, a black BMW 5 Series sedan. Virginia State Police spokesperson Matthew Delmain said in a news release. So the spokesperson for Virginia State Police is Matthew Delmain. We're going to look him up, and we ask this community to reach out to Matthew Delmain and ask him about the case of Mustafa Al-Jazari and the case of Tatiana David. And specifically ask him, why haven't you reconstructed the vehicle accident when there's fatalities involved of Mustafa Al-Jazari? And why haven't you investigated the murder of Tatiana David, specifically when on a police body cam that's leaked on the internet, it shows that Virginia State Police and Prince William County killed Tatiana David, dragged her body from inside the vehicle to outside the vehicle, only to say, we found her outside the vehicle, and blamed the boyfriend, the father of her 5-year-old baby, Michael Davis. Michael Davis still sits in a county jail. They pushed his trial a year from today, hoping that this is just going to blow over and disappear. So we are asking this community to reach out to spokesperson Matthew Delmain with Virginia State Police and ask him questions. The suspect was traveling with a young child, and the victim was traveling with 2 teenage passengers, Delmain said. The 2 drivers continued along the highway, pulling off onto the shoulder where the Interstate 395, 495, and Route 644 meet. The confrontation ensued, with the victim shot once, Delmain said. The wounded driver then self-transported to an area hospital with an arm and leg injury, Delmain said. All right, so the driver has multiple injuries, and he drove himself to the hospital. The suspect then drove off eastbound and exited I-495, a Van Dorn Street. He is described as black and about 5'5" to 5'6", and was wearing blue or green work pants and a white t-shirt, Delmain said. Anyone with information is asked to contact Virginia State Police Division 7 dispatch at, so this is their number, to reach Virginia State Police if you have any information about this case and to inquire about the Mustafa Al-Jazari case and the Tatiana David case. You can call 703-803-0028. Email, or you can email questions@vsp.virginia.gov. This is their email. This is their phone number. And I'm calling on this community to reach out to Virginia State Police and simply ask Why hasn't Virginia State Police reconstructed the vehicle accident of Mustafa Al-Jazari case, specifically when there's fatalities? I mean, are they not reconstructing the accident because it's going to show that this is a vehicle accident? We have the computer inside the vehicle that show Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time. We have a dash camera that shows that Mustafa did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. That Mustafa cleared all the vehicle, made it all the way to the fourth lane, and the SUV turned into Mustafa. We have Prince William County Police Department on a body cam inspect Mustafa's vehicle and find brake failure. Now, Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time. The police are now telling us on a police body cam that there is brake failure. I mean, is Virginia State Police not reconstructing this vehicle accident for over 2.5 years because they're going to find that this is a vehicle accident? We're asking this community to call this number, reach out to Virginia State Police and ask them, why are they not involved? Why did they not reconstruct the vehicle accident? No one so far reconstructed Mustafa's vehicle accident. The police department does not let anybody touch Mustafa's vehicle. We hired an independent expert to look into Mustafa's vehicle, and the police department, the same officer that falsified Mustafa's case, the same officer that falsified Mustafa's statement, on a body cam, refused to allow the independent expert to reconstruct the vehicle accident, specifically when there is a judge order to inspect the vehicle accident. What are they going to find? Are they going to find that this is a vehicle accident? Is that why they're doing everything they can? And on a police body cam, the investigator, Robert Drum, that falsified Mustafa's statement specifically said, prosecutor Sarah Sammy said, no one is allowed to touch this vehicle. How does that make sense when there's a judge order to inspect and reconstruct the vehicle accident? We're calling this community to reach out to Virginia State Police and ask them, why have they not reconstructed the vehicle accident? We're calling on this community to reach out to Virginia State Police and ask them about Tatiana David. Now, this is the body cam of Tatiana David. Since Virginia State Police is so forthcoming, they're on the news and they're asking the community for help. Well, we want to help Virginia State Police get to the bottom of what is going on in the cases that are coming out of our county. This is what the news
An update now on the
is telling us about Tatiana David.
An update now on the New York woman found dead in Northern Virginia after she was abducted. Police say they found the body of Tatiana David Wednesday night beside the SUV believed to have been used to kidnap her along I-95 in Quantico.
Beside the SUV, Virginia State Police tell us that they found Tatiana David outside the car. Let's keep listening to what Virginia State Police is telling us, and then we're going to play the body cam.
Dave Laval spoke to her family just a short time ago.
The family of Tatiana David is left with many questions, according to her sister, Olivia Valerio.
Everyone's doing as best as they can, but, you know, it's hard. She just left so suddenly, you can't really, gather it.
Virginia State Police found her body late Wednesday night along I-95 in Quantico. It was beside the SUV police believe was used earlier in the day to kidnap David from her home in Ithaca, New York. Police say the suspect is 34-year-old Michael Davis, a former partner and the father of David's 4-year-old son. Police shot Davis after they said he first fired at them. State trooper pulled over White for what we've been told were wrong license plates. That led to a high-speed chase that ended 20 miles away and a shootout. David's death came on her 34th birthday.
She was just so perfect in every way. She was everything you could ask as a sister. She was there for me whenever I needed her with advice or just there to talk when I needed her. And, you just couldn't miss her once you saw her. She's so amazing.
You can't dismiss this conversation when we have the police body cam. There are allegations. You can make allegations. You can make a claim. But it's your word against the police, against what happened. But when you have the police body cam, it's no more allegations. It's no more my word against the police. I have the police body cam that Commonwealth Amy Ashworth sealed from this community. As a matter of fact, even the Department of Justice, even the FBI can't investigate because they're the federal government. And this is on the state level. They'll tell you that the Commonwealth Attorney sealed it on the state level. So we're waiting on them to investigate themselves. Well, I stole this body cam from the Commonwealth Attorney and I've leaked it on the internet. So let's watch what the police body cam show. This is 2.5 years ago on April 5th. So Prince William County, this is Prince William County body cam. This lady officer is approaching the scene. And if you zoom in and you watch what is taking place, they're dragging Michael Davis out of that vehicle after they had shot him. He's inside his vehicle. I mean, you have an officer with an AR-15 with a smile on his face as if nothing happened. At that point, they've already put 50 bullets into that vehicle. Virginia State Police and Prince William County Police put 50 vehicle in a vehicle that they say is an abductee. They said that Michael Davis shot at the police. When we're watching on a police body cam, they say that he came at the police. He was shooting at the police. When we're watching on a body cam, that they dragged Michael Davis out of that vehicle after shooting him, and he's inside his vehicle. And we're finding out there is no gun. That the police thought he had a gun and opened fire and put 50 bullets into that vehicle. Wait a minute. I thought you said this was an abductee. I thought you said he's abducting his girlfriend. He's the father of her 5-year-old baby, but he's abducted her. A military vet, 5 years, served our country, all the way from Ithaca, New York, all the way here on I-495. Kidnapped her. You want us to believe that narrative? Okay, let's go with your narrative that this is an abductee. Well, we're watching on a body cam that you put 50 bullets into that vehicle. You dragged Michael Davis out of that vehicle. You thought he had a gun, so you opened fire in panic. And you're going to see now they're dragging Tatiana David out of that vehicle. They roll her around like a pretzel inside that car. Drag her out of that car, reposition her somewhere else away from the vehicle, only to tell the news we found her outside the car with a gunshot wound, blaming her boyfriend, the father of her baby. You see, this is Michael Davis being dragged out of that car. Now they're going to be dragging Tatiana David out of that car. And they say, we found her outside the car. And they blame the boyfriend for her murder. When the police are the one that shot and killed Tatiana David and engaged in a cover-up to pull her outside the car and tell the news that we found her outside the car, that's a cover-up. I mean, it's one thing, when you look up Virginia State Police policy, if there's an abductee, you're supposed to outweigh the risk. And by law, you're not supposed to pursue that vehicle. So disregard for her life, you pursued the vehicle.
I got this. My hands are fucked. They're cut by glass. Switch. Here. Look at me. Get her out here. Get her out and get her right down here.
You see them roll Tatiana David
Can't get her out.
inside
The
the
legs are
car.
rammed up in there. Grab her arm. Can you move the seat up?
At that point, she's already dead. You put 50 bullets into that vehicle.
You got the arm?
Other people that need rescue. One gunshot wound, trying to figure out the rest.
Okay, copy. No injuries. No. We're happy to take one of the
Gunshot wounds in category 2.
You're gonna have to stand her up. Yeah, grab. There you go.
Watch out, watch out, watch out.
Hey, help him, pull. There you go.
Flip her over.
They were dragging her away from the vehicle, only to tell the news that we found her outside the vehicle. This is the definition of a cover-up. Since the last
That's right.
time,
All right. Grab the arm. Pull.
Grab the back of her head.
All right. I got a leg. All right. Go. Get her out of the boat.
and then you'll see other officers smiling, laughing, talking about. You've got Officer Casey Fine, the same one involved in Mustafa Al-Jazari case. At one point,
Guys, thank you for your help, right?
Jester
Appreciate it, man.
to his head, and he said,
First started more.
we're collecting names, making sure that no one
Hey,
talks.
what's your name? Jensen. It's brand new.
One of them goes around, and he's a supervisor, and he's collecting names, make sure that everybody that was there is on a list, and no one talks. And since the Commonwealth attorney went to a judge and sealed off the body cams, and every time you inquire about this case, they tell you we're investigating. Well, what the hell are you investigating? It's been 2.5 years. It takes you no more than a couple of minutes to find out that Virginia State Police and Prince William County killed this black girl and engaged in a cover-up, only to tell the news, we found her outside the vehicle. Now, since Prince William County, since Virginia State Police is so forthcoming and they want to engage this community with a conversation, and they're on our local paper asking the community for help in their current case, we want to reach out to Virginia State Police and reach out to the number that they put on our local paper, 703-803-0028, and reach out to Virginia State Police, and specifically their spokesperson, Matthew Dillman, and tell him, what have you done about the body cam that's been leaked other than having the chief of police resign since we publicly came out and talked about this body cam. This is the chief of police. This happened under the watch of, let's see, let me pull up the chief of police that put in his retirement since this leaked out. The chief of police put in for his retirement. There we go. This is the chief of police that this happened under his watch, and since the body cams have been sealed and they pretend to be investigating. Well, since we publicly came out and talked about and leaked out these body cam, he put in for his retirement. This is, let's see. This post reads, after nearly 4 decades of public safety service, Virginia State Police Superintendent Colonel Gary T. Settle will be retiring effectively February 1st, 2025. Well, we came out and publicly talked about that we're leaking out this body cam, and here we go. There is no more chief of police. He's retiring. We have a new chief of police, and we're asking this community to reach out and call this number and ask them, what have they done other than what Elaine Jarvis out of Warren County in Circuit Court is telling us? There's a case that the county is coming after me to remove these body cams, and they've mechanized Elaine Jarvis. Her law firm is not another boring law firm, and she put on an injunction, and she wants me. She's doing the bidding of Commonwealth Amy Ashworth out of Warren County in Circuit Court. And in Circuit Court, she says that Virginia State Police went into her office, and this is on the record, went into her office and purged and deleted the police body cam of Tatiana David. Other than the chief of police putting in for retirement, other than going around and deleting the evidence that they murdered Tatiana David, what have they done in the Tatiana David case? Call 703-803-0028, and that's how you'll reach Virginia State Police, since they're so forthcoming and they're all over our local newspaper. Now, let's take a deep dive into and back into the Mustafa Al-Jazari case and pick up where we left off last time. Commonwealth Amy Ashworth tells the news that she has other evidence that will support her case. Now, specifically, there's a delegate that reached out to Commonwealth Amy Ashworth and asked her, what am I hearing about falsified police reports? What am I hearing about what am I hearing that you're not even you're denying him a bond? So Commonwealth Amy Ashworth replies to Delegate Kelly Fowler. Let's watch a video that Delegate Kelly Fowler at the time posted on her social media and since reached out through email to Commonwealth Amy Ashworth. Let's watch the video and then we'll go through the email.
It's always very upsetting when you find out that someone is being held on no bond and is being beaten while they are being held.
Let's zoom in a little bit so we can get to know Delegate Kelly Fowler. There we go. That's a lot better.
Being held in prison. This is true of a case that I ran across on TikTok. Thank you, TikTok. I am in Virginia. This is in Prince William County Jail. Mustafa Al-Jazari has been in jail since April 7th of this year. And he has had no bond, and his charges are several charges of felony murder. So you think murder, oh my goodness, this must be serious. No, it was a car accident. The whole case is based on the fact that he crashed the car on purpose. He was trying to scare his girlfriend, and he didn't buckle the daughter in, and there's a felony child neglect charge as well for that. On this page, I was able to watch dash cam footage showing the girlfriend buckling the child in. So number one, that's not even true. He didn't even buck the child in. And then I also witnessed several other things that were not true that are in the police report. I'm going to play in 3 parts because it's that long. The police interrogation or questioning and the police report. And you tell me where the bias is.
Hello.
Hey man, how are you?
I'm okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this is the audio that my other brother,
I don't
Muhammad, recorded at the time of the phone call conversation between Investigator Drum and Mustafa, where essentially what Robert Drum did, he falsified Mustafa's statements. There's a recording. Investigator Robert Drum deleted his body cam, thinking there is no proof, but my other brother, Muhammad, had recorded that conversation. So since then, we went to Internal Affairs, and they've admitted that they falsified the police reports. It was all over the news. Now, Delegate Kelly Fowler reached out to Commonwealth Amy Ashworth. And, I mean, this is a government official that went public on her platform, on her social media platform, and reached out to the Commonwealth attorney in an email inquiring about Mustafa Al-Jazari. Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, I remind this community, has sealed off the whole file. And she writes back to Delegate Kelly Fowler and tell her, Delegate, rest assured that I am not maliciously prosecuting Mustafa. Whatever the family is telling you, I have other evidence that supports my case, that this is premeditated murder. It's in an email she wrote back to the delegate. Since, I mean, the whole file is sealed, you've got a Commonwealth attorney that will tell you, I've got other evidence. What do you say to that? A government official communicating with another government official. Essentially, she doesn't share anything with the delegate. And she tells her, I have other evidence that will support my case. But this Commonwealth attorney seals off the whole entire case. Let's read the email and see what Commonwealth Amy Ashworth is telling Delegate Kelly Fowler. Commonwealth Amy Ashworth writes to Delegate Kelly Fowler. She tells her, good morning, Delegate Fowler. Thank you for reaching out to me regarding this case. I am well acquainted with the facts and the investigation and have heard from the family of Mustafa Al-Jazari on multiple occasions. Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about when the family went to your office and you kicked them out of the office and you threatened to arrest them because they told you that they have Google Nets videos days on days that show that the family love Mustafa, that the boys, Dorothy has a 9-year-old child, a 10-year-old child, a 14-year-old child, and a 5-year-old baby. Google Nets videos that show the kids love Mustafa. Mustafa loved the kids. The girlfriend loved Mustafa. It's a beautiful relationship. And it's on video. Commonwealth attorney kicks the family out of the office and threatened them with an arrest. She doesn't want to look at the videos. But here, she tells Delegate Kelly Fowler, I have heard from the family of Mustafa Al-Jazari on multiple occasions. The trial of the felony charges pending against Mr. Al-Jazari is set to begin in April. At that time, the Commonwealth will present her case to the jury in a court of law. I will now try this case on social media until the trial is over. I'm not going to publicly comment on the facts of the case as the ethics rule of the Virginia State Bar prohibits such comments. What are you talking about? You're all over the news, lady. You're all over the news. Mustafa's been held in solitary confinement for over 2.5 years. No trial. And you're talking about you're going to try him in April? We're begging you to take him to trial. We're begging you to put the evidence on the record. But here you tell this delegate that in April of 2020, we're in 2024. We're in 2025. It's been 2.5 years. What are you talking about? You don't let anybody reconstruct a vehicle accident. You don't put the evidence on the record. Your police department, you're allowing the police department to omit the evidence. But here you tell the delegate that you're waiting for the court, for the trial, that you're avoiding. You're not going to talk about this on the media. Lady, you're all over the news. The news is talking about your investigator said that Mustafa did this on purpose. We just read a statement from you on NBC4. You're all over the media. But here you tell the delegate that the ethics prohibits you, the state bar prohibits you from commenting. You don't want to be asked questions because you're sealing the case of falsified police reports. You're bringing individuals that are manufacturing probable cause. Now, unfortunately for you, I've stole the whole file and we're taking a deep dive into, and we're communicating and we're attempting to tell Delegate Kelly Fowler that, ma'am, you've been hoodwinked by the Commonwealth Attorney. How does Delegate Kelly Fowler feel about getting hoodwinked by the Commonwealth Attorney, Amy Ashworth? I mean, Delegate Kelly Fowler, you pride yourself that your husband is a police officer that stood for corruption against corruption in the police department, and essentially, that's why he was fired. Well, where are you, ma'am? The file is all over the internet, and it shows that the Commonwealth Attorney lied to you. Let's continue reading this email. I appreciate your concern, and if I had... So the Commonwealth Attorney said, I appreciate your concern. She's telling Delegate Kelly Fowler, I appreciate your concern, and if I had only seen what is being posted online about this case, I would certainly share your concern. However, as I am sure you are aware, there are often context to conversations and additional information that can change the way one views information. That's interesting, ma'am. All the police body cams are on the internet. All the documents are on the internet. You want to say that one more time? Delegate Kelly Fowler, hello? Delegate, where are you, ma'am? Since then, she wrote you an email and she told you, I have other evidence. Well, Delegate, can we wake you up to look into what this Commonwealth Attorney is doing out of Prince William County? I mean, you're either a delegate that care or doesn't care. I mean, here you're communicating and she's telling you, I have other evidence. Well, I've leaked the evidence for you that you can see that this Commonwealth Attorney lied to you. We hope to hear from you, ma'am, and have you look into what this Commonwealth Attorney is doing. Commonwealth Amy Ashworth continues and tells Delegate Kelly Fowler, she says, I have advised the family to share their information and evidence with their attorney who can best advise them on the most productive next step. Again, thank you for reaching out. Respectfully, Amy Ashworth, Commonwealth Attorney, Prince William County, and Cities of Manassas Park. Which attorney, ma'am? Are we talking about the attorney that told us to destroy all the evidence? This attorney?
If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay.
Commonwealth Amy Ashworth tells Delegate Fowler that she told the family to share whatever evidence they've got with their attorney. The attorney that is sent by the county to rob $55,000 from us. The attorney that when we look him up, we find that he has a relationship with the investigator that falsified the police report. I mean, you don't have to take my word for it. Go on Google, look up Casey Stevens, and you're going to find out of 2016, Casey Stevens was pulled over He crashed his vehicle. He had a DUI, and he fled the scene. That's in 2016. The officer that was on the scene is Robert Drum. Now, Casey Stevens only got 90 days suspended. Let me go crash a car. Let me be on a DUI. Let me flee a scene. You think I'm going to get 90 days suspended? Oh, he's got a relationship with crash investigator Robert Drum. Mysteriously, this is the same lawyer that sent to us. He has a history with Robert Drum, the same investigator that falsified Mustafa's statements. What are we talking about here? And yet the Commonwealth attorney is telling Delegate Kelly Fowler, give every piece of evidence you have to your defense attorney. While Casey Stevens is telling us to destroy everything, man. Stole $55,000. So he takes all of our money. He covers up for the investigator. I have the body cam that I've captured this unicorn on a body cam working with the investigator against Mustafa. And we'll have multiple podcasts about that. We're asking this community to reach out to Delegate Kelly Fowler and tell her the file is leaked on the internet and have her look into what this Commonwealth attorney is doing. Delegate Commonwealth Amy Ashworth lied to you. Question is, where are you, Delegate? Now, we're going to dive in and pick up where we left off last time. We're going on 47 minutes. So we want to keep these podcasts to an hour, a little bit over an hour. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do a recap of Kylie's forensic interview and why is Kylie forensic interview relevant and why it's not relevant. I mean, essentially, when I'm going through these forensic interviews, all you see and find out that the Commonwealth attorney is bringing individuals that tell you on sealed body cams that you are not allowed to see, never meant to see, is that these individuals are telling you we were not there. And that's why essentially these body cams are sealed. Unfortunately for Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, I stole it from her and I'm leaking it on the internet that we can get to the bottom of what is happening here. When the prosecutor Sarah Sammy, tell us that this is premeditated murder. I mean, this is what the prosecutor is telling us in court. And she says to the judge, and she proffers. Proffers mean she doesn't provide the evidence. She just tells the judge, I have evidence. And she tells the judge that, Your Honor, I have a witness that premeditated, that will testify that Mustafa premeditated this murder. This is a murder, she tells him, Your Honor. She says, this is not a car accident. This is a murder. I have the witness. Now, let's listen to what the prosecutor says in court, so that way we have context to what we're talking about.
Another individual came forward to say that this defendant had told Dorothy that he would kill her in the past.
So we're going to zoom in a little bit so that way we see this prosecutor. This is Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, and she says, I have an individual that will testify that this is not a vehicle accident, that Mustafa premeditated this. The problem with what the prosecutor says, every individual that they bring into this case on a body cam say, we were not there. So they engage in hearsay. This is the definition of hearsay. Manufactured probable cause. Each one of them say they were not there. But of course, these body cams are sealed so the prosecutor can lie in court. Let's listen to what Prosecutor Sarah Sammy says one more time so we understand what the position of the prosecutor is.
Another individual came forward to say that this defendant had told Dorothy that he would kill her in the past.
Now, when you look up the definition of premeditated murder, premeditated could be a month in advance, a week in advance, a day in advance, or on the last minute, or on the last second. Now, that's the definition by law of premeditated murder. Now, when you listen to the prosecutor, she leaves it vague. She said that another individual will come forward and testify that Mustafa premeditated a murder. Now, here's the problem for prosecutor Sarah Sammy. The individuals that she's relying on, we have their body cams, and they tell you their narrative. They tell you that, one, we were not there. We didn't hear it ourselves. We were not there. So immediately, that's not a witness. But let's listen to what they're saying. They're saying that Mustafa, on that day, premeditated this murder, planned this out in advance, not on the last second, in advance, that he forced Dorothy into a vehicle. He forced 5-year-old Empress in a vehicle, didn't want the boys to be there, so he told them to stay home. He was angry at his girlfriend because of an ex-boyfriend, Glenn Ford, and he forced his girlfriend and her 5-year-old daughter in a vehicle only to crash it. That's what Commonwealth Amy Ashworth is relying on. I mean, we have the video. Let's go to the video and see what Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, witness, is talking about. This is the forensic interview of Kylie Clapp. Now, Kylie Clapp, specifically, she's asked, were you there? Kylie says, no, I wasn't there. Did you hear this yourself? Kylie says, no. Let me see, where can I find this? There's a clip on here. And I've titled this clip, Kylie says premeditated. Kylie says, so much in this interview, it's not easy keeping track with her. I mean, when you watch this forensic interview, it's Kylie impeach Kylie. And in every time she manufactured probable cause about Mustafa, she says, I didn't see it. She paints you a scenario, but then tells you, I didn't see it. There we go. In this clip, Kylie says, and she gives the person that's interviewing her in a forensic interview her testimony. And then she's asked, did you see it? Kylie says, no. Were you there? No. And then she tells you, she asks, then how do you know that this is what happened, that Mustafa premeditated this? Kylie says, Tanisha Coleman, the neighbor, told me. Wait, maybe it's the children that told me. You don't know who told you this? You weren't there? Someone told you this? And then when you go to the body cams of Tanisha Coleman, the neighbor says Kylie told her. The children say Tanisha Coleman told her. I mean, this is what the prosecutor is relying on. A game of ping pong. One person says one thing, tells you another person told me, the other person bounces back to Kylie. It's a mess. So what did the Commonwealth attorney do? Seal off the body cams. So that way, the prosecutor is just going to lie in court. Let's listen to what Kylie is talking about.
Is there anything else you can think of, even if you think it's not that important, that you feel like you want to tell me?
Well, with like, I'm really sorry. I've been up since like 6 a.m.
Yeah. And if you're, you know, when you get to that point and you're ready to stop, just let me know, okay?
No, I will. I'm just like,
okay,
thinking about this, and then I also have to go into work after this.
Okay.
And I'm also really tired, so it's like,
yeah,
I have a lot of things.
Sure.
But and I also just haven't thought about this in a really, at least in detail, in a really long time.
Sure.
And well, I know that the night it happened, the crash, I know that he's made comments about how my mom always, this is what made me think, like, I think it was on purpose. Even if he didn't premeditate it, I think it was on purpose.
Okay.
Was that, first of all, he had already had my mom to get rid of me, and the only other person that was so, like, evident, clear about, I'm looking for the right word, that's probably not the right word, but like, so, like, outward and direct about not wanting him there was my baby sister. And he's made comments about how she always sits behind my mom in the car. And also, so my mom, she really wasn't a very good person. She was cheating on him with her ex-boyfriend, who she had moved next door into, and he would argue, her ex-boyfriend's name was Glenn. She had moved next door to him with Moses. They knew who each other was and about each other. Glenn knew that who Moses was and that he lived there. Moses didn't know who Glenn was, because if he did, they'd probably kill each other. But like, their bedroom window looked directly into his bedroom window with his baby mama. And I know they were still seeing each other and like hooking up and stuff. And so I'm pretty sure that that night he found out about that, or that Glenn had lived right there, is what my mom's friend told me. And so that day was my mom's birthday. So they were gonna go see his grave. I mean, her grave. I'm sorry. And my brothers asked to go, and he wouldn't let them. And he said only my mom and my little sister. And there's plenty of room in the car. There's plenty of, so if they wanted to go to their grandmother's grave, why wouldn't he let them?
Now, Kylie says a couple of things. She says that Mustafa made comments about 5-year-old Empress always sitting behind mom. That Mustafa purposely got rid of Kylie for the sole purpose to kill her mom. Now, 3, mom wasn't a good person. That she was cheating on Mustafa with her ex-boyfriend. But Mustafa doesn't know who the ex-boyfriend is. So you want to tell me that Mustafa did this because of a person that he never met? Okay, all right. So Mustafa doesn't know who Glenn Ford is. And we have information that Glenn Ford himself says, Mustafa doesn't know me. There's a video that showed that Mustafa doesn't know him, doesn't even know who the guy is. And Kylie herself tells us Mustafa doesn't know who Glenn Ford is. But Glenn Ford knows him. Her mom is not a good person. She's cheating on Mustafa. And specifically, she believed that this is premeditated because Mustafa on that day told Dorothy, it was his idea, told Dorothy to get in the car. Forced Empress to get in the car, 5-year-old Empress. Specifically forced the boys to stay at home. That's Kylie's narrative. This is why Kylie says this is premeditated. Now, Kylie is asked a direct question. Were you there? How do you know this? Did you hear this yourself? Let's listen to what Kylie tells us.
On her, like,
And how did you know about all of that?
because my mom's neighbor was there for part of it, and my siblings told me about that part.
Okay. And what's your mom's neighbor name, do you know?
That's Tanisha.
Oh, that's Tanisha. Okay. And you said that you knew that they were seeing each other?
So Kylie says, how do you know about this? I was told this is what happened. Who told you this? My neighbor. The neighbor, Tanisha Coleman. Or, wait, maybe the children. The rest of the children. Were you there? No. The problem here is when you go to Tanisha Coleman, she said Kylie told her. When you go to the children, there are forensic interviews of the children will tell you Tanisha Coleman told them. They're playing this game of ping pong. Each person says, I wasn't there. Kylie tells you, I wasn't there. And then she goes on. And then she tells us this.
You said something about that he made comments about your baby sister always sitting behind your mom. Is that correct? Did he make those? Who did he make those comments to?
My siblings.
Okay.
And my mom. Or my mom and her friend.
Okay. Did he ever make those comments to you?
No, but he's made other comments like that.
Like what?
Just like about my sister, how she'll like refuses to be near him, doesn't like him, stuff.
Okay. What would he say about her not liking him? In what context?
I don't know. He would bring it up out of nowhere because it was visible that she didn't, and he would just make comments about it. Like, I don't know. I can't think of like. I don't know.
Okay. And it's okay if you don't know.
It's okay if you don't know. As long as you're lying about Mustafa, it's okay if you don't know. I mean, she's conducting an interview, and the person that she's interviewing is telling her, I wasn't there, I didn't see it, I didn't hear it. But it's okay if you don't know. As long as you're lying about Mustafa, keep telling us what you're telling us. Now, when you say you're not there, you didn't hear it, you didn't see it, you've disqualified yourself as a witness. You're not the witness. And then she says, Tanisha Coleman told me. Well, Tanisha Coleman says, you told her. The children say, Tanisha Coleman told me. Everybody is bouncing back and off. Bouncing off of each other. No one is there, and no one is saying that we saw or heard. Kylie, you've disqualified yourself as a witness. This is Kylie. And I know, Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, you want to call this a witness. You sealed off her file. But unfortunately for you, the community is watching your witness get disqualified. This is not a witness. She tells you I wasn't there. She tells you I didn't hear anything. I was told. Who told you? Tanisha Coleman. And we're going to dive into Tanisha Coleman. listen to what Tanisha Coleman tells us. Tanisha Coleman tells us Mustafa is the best thing that happened to Dorothy and the children. And we'll have multiple podcasts on Tanisha Coleman. Kylie, prosecutor Sarah Sammy, is telling us she is not a witness. Your other witness, the one that sent an email to Robert Drum, Evelyn Horton. Let's go to Evelyn Horton. Unfortunately for you, sweetheart, you are not a witness either. What do you say on a body cam when you're talking to Robert Drum? You send him an email saying, my name is Evelyn Horton. On a body cam, when you're talking to Robert Drum, and if you haven't heard that body cam, it's posted on the internet. It's in the previous podcast. Make sure you go back and watch the previous podcast. It's a lot to take in. She tells the investigator, Robert Drum, that she's not the witness that saw or heard that Mustafa premeditated this. That she's getting all of her information from Kylie Clapp. And in the body cam, she identifies herself as Amy Hodson. And then the investigator who's masking her identity began reading the email that she sent him as Evelyn Horton and telling her, you sent me an email that you are a witness to Mustafa premeditated this. And then his disappointment, I mean, his tone just dropped. He's so disappointed when she told him, yeah, I'm not the witness. I'm getting all my information from Kylie Clapp. Well, unfortunately for you, sweetheart, you've disqualified yourself as a witness. Now, unfortunately for prosecutor Sarah Sammy, we have the Google Nest videos of the day of the vehicle accident. And Kylie wants to tell us that Mustafa forced the children, the boys to stay home, forced 5-year-old Empress to get in the car, that he planned this a day in advance, that he's so angry at Dorothy because of an ex-boyfriend he doesn't even know, forced her into a vehicle only to crash the vehicle on purpose. I find it interesting that she says the word crash. I mean, in court, the defense attorney at the time, Blake Weiner, and I have a recording of the proceeding, when he tells one of the investigators, Chad Mason, and he asked him questions about the vehicle accident, the investigator made it a point to not say vehicle accident. He said crash. What's a 16-year-old using terminology in the same investigator that we have that's in question, that have cut the dash camera, falsified Mustafa's reports in this case, is using the same terminology, crash? I find that disturbing, a little bit disturbing. But let's go into the Google Nest videos where it shows that what Kylie's talking about is not true. I mean, we've determined that Kylie is not a witness. She says she's not there. I haven't heard it. I didn't see it. But let's entertain what she's talking about. I mean, she's giving us a narrative, right? Well, it's Kylie Clapp narrative against the home videos. These are the home videos. If you go into a playlist on Not Another Boring Podcast on YouTube, and there's a playlist called Google Nest Home Videos, you'll see there is a video on here that shows Dorothy asking Empress to go with her on that day. Wait a minute. Kylie is telling us that Mustafa is forcing Dorothy and Empress to go and get into the vehicle on that day. Let's watch this Google Nest.
Because you're going with me to see Grandma.
Let's watch it one more time.
Because you're going with me to see Grandma for her birthday.
do you want to give Grandma your flowers?
That's what I'm gonna give her the pink flowers out there that light up.
So you were gonna give her that one?
This is dated April 5th. (12:31 p.m.) the day of the vehicle accident. We just watched Mustafa's girlfriend Dorothy is asking 5-year-old Empress to go with her, and it's her mom's anniversary. Now, Kylie tells us otherwise. Kylie tells us that she believes, even though she wasn't there, even though she didn't hear it herself, that this is premeditated because Mustafa is forcing Dorothy to go with him on that day. That Mustafa is forcing 5-year-old Empress to go with him that day. It's Kylie against a Google Nest video. We're watching that Dorothy, Mustafa's girlfriend, is the one that's asking 5-year-old Empress to go with her on that day. To do what exactly? To visit her mom. It's her mom's anniversary. And you're going to watch in this Google Nest video where Dorothy is asking the boys, and the boys don't want to go. But Miss Kylie is telling us that Mustafa is the one that's forcing the kids to stay home. Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, how do you feel about everything being leaked on the internet?
Pharaoh, are you coming with me to the cemetery? It's Grandma's birthday today. If you don't want to, you can stay here. I don't care. I just want to go. No, I don't care. Empress, get your shoes on. Thank you. Hold on.
Pharaoh is Dorothy's 9-year-old child. Kylie tells us Mustafa is forcing them to stay home. But here we're watching a Google Nest video. We're watching a Google Nest video where it shows the boys don't want to go. That Dorothy asked the boys, do you want to go? And the boys don't want to go.
I'm gonna put a fancy spit on it.
Dorothy is holding flowers. The flowers that later Robert Drum pretends don't exist. And we have a document in the discovery where the document show that. So when Robert Drum is talking to Mustafa on a recorded, my other brother Muhammad recorded the phone call conversation where Robert Drum falsified Mustafa's statements. Robert Drum says, I don't know what flowers you're talking about. Mustafa's telling him we were going to go lay flowers. It's my girlfriend's anniversary. She asked me to take her, and I'm taking her. There's flowers, Robert Drum, even though you see it on a dash camera. Even though the body cam that we just watched, we see that Dorothy is walking with flowers.
You're going with me. Just
You
see
see the
Grandma.
flowers? You see the flowers in her hands? You see those flowers? Let's see if I can rewind.
Are you coming with me to the cemetery? It's Grandma's birthday today.
You'll see Dorothy is walking back to the room, and she has flowers in her hands. Well, those flowers,
No, I don't care.
those flowers in the discovery in a sealed document
Empress,
that Commonwealth
take your
Attorney
shoes on.
sealed, is talking about the police department is releasing. You see, Dorothy's going to walk back into the room with flowers in her hands. You see it clearly on a dash camera. You see it clearly on the picture that Robert Drum took on the scene. The document, the discovery, showed that the police department have released the flowers to the owner. Dorothy died in a vehicle accident. What is the police department releasing flowers and not putting it in this case? I mean, you see Dorothy with flowers? You see it right there? That flowers right there? Here, rewind just a little bit. You see the flowers in her hands? Those flowers? The police department released evidence that show that Mustafa was taking Dorothy to the cemetery, to her mom's anniversary. I mean, the flowers is so important in this case because it shows what actually took place. That it was a normal day. Mustafa, his girlfriend, asked him, he's doing her a favor by taking her to her mom's anniversary. There's flowers that she wanted to lay on her mom's grave. The police department checks out. They pretend the flowers don't exist. There's a document that they've released, a document to the owner. We don't know who picked up the flowers. And pretending that the flowers does not exist. I'll post that document. That's disturbing. I mean, the investigator pretend there's no flowers. Now you're deleting the flowers from the case. Well, it's illegal by law to hide exculpatory evidence. Exculpatory evidence is any evidence, whether it makes you look good, it looks bad. In this case, the police department is cherry-picking evidence. The dash camera, the SD card, they haven't reconstructed the vehicle accident. The dash camera is not the whole thing. They don't add the whole thing into this case. The audio, they've deleted the audio, even though when there's a document that shows that they have the audio, they're excluding exculpatory evidence out of this case. Now, we saw on a Google Nest video that the mom is asking Pharaoh, and Pharaoh says, I don't want to go. So what the hell is Kylie talking about? That Mustafa forced Dorothy on that day. That Mustafa forced Empress. That Mustafa didn't want the boys to go with them. There's a Google Nest that shows otherwise. Now, we'll go back to what the prosecutor is talking about, so that way there's a reference point. The prosecutor in court is telling us that she has a witness that someone's going to come forward that Mustafa premeditated this. Let's listen to what the prosecutor says again.
Another individual came forward to say that this defendant had told Dorothy that he would kill her in the past.
Premeditated, right? That he's going to kill Dorothy in the past. We just watched two individuals that prosecutor Sarah Sammy is relying on that tell you we are not witnesses. Each one of them is telling you we're not there, we didn't see it, we didn't hear it. Evelyn Horton, Kylie Clapp, prosecutor, you know they're not witnesses. But because you're comfortable sealing off the case from this community, you feel comfortable lying in court? And those that tell me premeditated, let's look up the definition of premeditated. Murder, okay? Premeditated murder, often classified as first-degree murder, is the intentional taking of a human life with prior planning and deliberation. It requires proof that the perpetrator not only intended to kill, but also reflected on that decision and formed a plan before carrying out the fact. This distinguished from other forms of homicide like second-degree murder or manslaughter, which may involve intent but lack the element of premeditation. A premeditated intent to kill requires that the defendant had intent to kill and some willful deliberation. That defendant spent some time to reflect, deliberate reason, or weigh their decision to kill rather than killing on a sudden impulse. Prior planning and deliberation are often closely intertwined. Now, if you keep looking into premeditated, it'll tell you premeditated murder can be before, planned out a month in advance, a week in advance, a day in advance, an hour, or on the last second. In this case, the prosecutor is telling us that she has a witness that will come forward to Mustafa, to admitting that Mustafa premeditated this. A witness. Well, we're diving through the body cams that are sealed by the Commonwealth Attorney. And so far, each one of those people that the prosecutor is relying on is telling you, I wasn't there, I didn't hear it. But then go on to tell you that Mustafa planned this in advance. That Mustafa forced his girlfriend Dorothy, forced 5-year-old Empress, forced the children, the rest of the children, the boys to stay home. Well, we just watched a Google Nest video that shows what happened that day. And it's completely opposite of what Evelyn Horton, a.k.a. Amy Hodson, is telling us. Amy Hodson also tells us that this is planned in advance, that Mustafa forced his girlfriend, forced the 5-year-old baby, forced the children, the boys to stay home. And then she says, Kylie Clapp told me. Kylie Clapp also says that this is premeditated, planned in advance. And then go on and tell you, I was not there. I didn't hear it. I didn't see it. Well, unfortunately for you, ma'am, there's a Google Nest video inside the apartment that the Commonwealth Attorney is terrified that it exists. What did the Commonwealth Attorney do at the time when the family told her there's a Google Nest and they wanted to provide her with the Google Nest? She threatened them with an arrest. Your witness says, I was not there. And unfortunately for you, you tell Delegate Kelly Fowler that we're not going to try this over the internet. Yes, we are. And your witness just got disqualified. This is Kylie Clapp. Your other witness, Evelyn Horton. Where are you? Evelyn Horton. There you are. Evelyn Horton. You disqualified yourself. You tell Robert Drum you were not there. What do you tell Commonwealth Attorney? What do you tell Delegate Kelly Fowler in an email? That you're not going to try this all over the internet? Yes, we are. We are definitely going to try this over the internet. And we're going to make sure that Mustafa's evidence is on the record. And we're going to make sure that you end up in federal jail. You're not just going to jail, ma'am. I'll promise you. You're going to jail. How does that working out for you? Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, Commonwealth Amy Ashworth. Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, she tells Judge Carol Weimer, Your Honor, the brother is releasing the whole file all over the internet. And essentially, we're not going to be able to have a fair trial. I've never heard of a case where the prosecutor says we're not going to have a fair trial. It's the other way around, where the defendant tells you, I should have a fair trial. Why are you not going to have a fair trial, Prosecutor Sarah Sammy? Is it because I'm releasing your videos that shows that you built a whole entire case on manufactured probable cause? Individuals that on video say and tell you, we were not there. The material fact of this case show that this is a vehicle accident. Every piece of evidence show this is a car accident. Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time. The dash camera show Mustafa did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. They tell you he was arguing inside the car. But the prosecutor seals off that dash camera from you. And then when you watch it, you'll realize that Mustafa and Dorothy are passing a cigarette 8 times. And the way she grabs Mustafa's fingers when she's taking the cigarette, she feels his finger as she's taking the cigarette. But the prosecutor wants to tell you they were arguing inside the car. Evidence that we have that showed that the police department is in possession of the audio, but they've lied and say there is no audio. A dash camera that's cut before impact. We're going to get to the bottom of what Commonwealth Amy Ashworth is doing in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case and what she's doing behind closed doors with other cases. I mean, you don't have to take my word for it. I'm releasing the videos. I'm releasing the documents. And not only for Mustafa, for other individuals in the county. What is Commonwealth Amy Ashworth is doing? You don't have to take my word for it. I mean, you can sit here and take the Commonwealth Attorney's word for it. Because she's the government, she tells you she's the government. Stay away from the window. Go to sleep. I'll make sure things are okay. I'm not going to release any document to you. I'm not going to release any file. I'm not going to release any police body cam or the dash camera itself. Because she's the Commonwealth Attorney, she tells you to trust her. Well, I tell you, every time we get on this podcast, you don't have to take my word for it. I'm going to release the file that I stole from the Commonwealth Attorney that she's hiding from you. I'm going to release the body cams. I've released the dash camera. I've released the documents. And you tell me that this Commonwealth Attorney didn't take a vehicle accident where Mustafa lost his family in a vehicle accident, put him in solitary confinement, denied him bond, so that way no one hears from Mustafa Al-Jazari, seals off his case so no one can look into the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. And apparently, she's doing it with other people. Thank you for being here. I want to quickly thank everybody that's here. Missy, I love you, ma'am. Casey, Laurie, Shelly, I miss you, ma'am. Who else is here? Quickly thank everybody else. Dre, we haven't heard and seen from you a while ago. I love your comment. When was it? Yesterday, where you said, which investigator is this? He's not getting the answers that he... So I posted a picture of which investigator. Investigator Davis. He's all over this case. He calls Kylie on first name basis on her cell phone on day one when he's not the child forensic unit. I mean, Kylie at the time was 16. What's Investigator Davis doing calling a minor on her cell phone? Where are the body cams when the police department talked to Kylie? I mean, here in this clip, Deanne, the person that's talking to Kylie, says that she's going to sit down with the investigators. Where is the body cam when Kylie sat down with the investigators? It's nowhere in the file. They don't have Kylie's body cams in the file. I mean, listen to this and tell me, where are the body cams from Kylie?
So, if you don't have any questions for me, I think I'm finished with my questions, okay? So what we'll do is I'll take you back and then you'll get a chance to meet with the detective that's here, okay? Do you feel comfortable doing that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, because I know that you gotta go to work too. Okay?
Yeah, I can let them know I'll be late.
Okay. So I'm keeping that in mind as well. And if you need maybe the advocate to help you do anything like that, you can talk to Karen about maybe what you can do. Okay. And if you need a note or something like that, we've got that for you too. Okay. All right. Thank you for talking to me today. All right.
Where are the body cams when she sat down with the investigators? It's not there. I mean, Dre, you asked me who is this investigator that's going around lying about Mustafa and attempting to influence in one way or another. I mean, at one point, this investigator tells another police officer, I've got an idea. but it's going to require some spending money. What's your idea, sir? What's your idea about the Mustafa Al-Jazari case that's going to require spending money? I mean, we know that it's not police department spending money, but yet I have you on a body cam telling your fellow police officer it's going to require spending money. Now, don't you think it'll be interesting to subpoena Investigator Davis' financial statements and find out what spending money he spent into the Mustafa Al-Jazari case when he's telling his buddy police officer, I've got an idea about this case, but it's going to take some spending money. The same investigator that falsifies the police reports, that influences witness, that brings in individuals that tell you we were not there and allows them to manufacture a probable cause. Dre, there you go, sir.
Man, I feel just like a rock star.
Davis, and at the time, he felt like a rock star. Investigator Davis, sir, do you still feel like a rock star? That now the file is all over the internet, and you're, at this rate, the most famous police officer out of Prince William County. You and Robert Drum, Investigator Romero, you've got a podcast dedicated for you. And the question is, Investigator Davis, and we'll leave you with this video, does Investigator Davis feel like a rock star now that I've reached into the back pocket of Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, stole the file from her, all the police body cams, all the documents, and I've leaked them on the internet? Let me tell you a little secret. Commonwealth Amy Ashworth does not have a back pocket. Does Investigator Davis feel like a rock star? Thank you for being here. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the police body cams. Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope.
Man, I feel just like a rock star.
Two years in a cell, no trial, no voice. Truth buried deep, but we ain't got no choice. They tried to erase him, break him apart, but we scream free Mustafa from the soul, from the heart. They falsified the paper, twisted every word, turned a car crash to murder, like justice never heard. Dorothy and Empress, angels in the sky. Now they blame a broken man while the real ones lie. A badge and a pen, that's all it took. Signed his fate with a false report and a dirty look.
Wherever the ambulance on the other side. Let's fuck that guy good.
And again, scream Mustafa, loud through the chains. Justice corrupted, drowning in pain. From the cell block to the street, we'll never stop till the walls fall down and the charges drop. Free Mustafa, it's more than a name, it's a movement, a mission, exposing the game to Trump and Cash. Hear our cry, bring the truth to to light, let the innocent fly. Amy Ashworth, playing judge and the jury in a county so dirty, soaked in fury. Police and the courts all in on the plot. They framed an innocent man and left his soul to rot. But his family's out marching, banners held high, while supporters flood timelines, refusing to lie. They want silence, we give them the storm. Truth blazing through like justice reborn. Every post, every chant, every sleepless night is a spark in the dark that's ready to ignite. This ain't just a song, it's a battle cry for every soul locked up while the guilty lie. We free Mustafa, loud through the chains. Justice corrupted, drowning in pain. From the cell block to the street, we'll never stop till the walls fall down and the charges drop. Free Mustafa, it's more than a name, it's a movement, a mission, exposing the game to Trump and Cash. Hear our cry, bring the truth to light, let the innocent fly. 2 years too long, time to rise.